Hey, Seasoned Athletes, I'm Robin Leggett, and welcome to a bonus episode of the Seasoned Athlete Podcast. Seasoned Athlete is your home for inspiring stories and motivational advice from competitive athletes representing a wide variety of sports who all share one common bond. They are all over 40 years old. We are here to prove one story at a time that age does not have to prevent you from achieving your bold athletic and fitness goals. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you'd subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you really love us, you can support our ability to continue to bring inspirational stories to you by way of either a one-time donation or by becoming a monthly sponsor. Just go to seasonedathlete.me and click on one of the Support Seasoned Athlete buttons to help support this DIY independent podcast. This episode is the first of my new series called 3 Things I'm Doing to Overcome Obstacles Right Now. Listen, life is coming at us pretty quickly these days, and with that comes new obstacles that pop up in our path with little to no notice whatsoever. This new world we're all navigating can be hard to manage at best, and sometimes it can be downright overwhelming. This is why I decided to launch a new Facebook Live series that I'm doing on my Facebook page every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And in this series, I talk to women athletes over 40 to get their unique perspective on how they are overcoming the new obstacles they've been facing recently. It's my hope that their stories, tips, and advice can help give you some new, fresh perspective on how to overcome the obstacles that are unique to you and your life. In this first episode, I interviewed competitive cyclist and fitness coach Marissa Axell, and she shared some great tips and advice. So give it a listen and soak in what she shared. Welcome to 3 Things I'm Doing to Overcome Obstacles Right Now. This is a brand new Facebook Live series that I am starting today. And we're going to do this every Friday around this time. The goal is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We had some technological things to work through today, but we are making it happen. My goal here is to give you tools to overcome the obstacles that are popping up in your life right now, because we are dealing with a lot of new and different obstacles in our lives as we navigate through crazy and uncertain times. So I'm bringing on women that I know, ageless athletes, as it were, women over 40, who I know from my ageless athlete scene, but people I believe can really share some great knowledge and tips and perspective that I think can be helpful to you. So just a short little Q&A interview with some really awesome peeps that you need to know. So today, first episode ever, and I am so happy to welcome the owner of Action Fitness and Coaching up in the Bay Area, but also online everywhere now, just as we all are doing. Marissa Axell, welcome.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Robin. Super cool to be here.
I'm so excited. I've talked to you for the Seasoned Athlete podcast. I've gotten to know you through the Todd Durkin Mastermind, and I knew you would be an awesome first guest on the show. So thank you for being here. So it's a really simple premise. I have one question for you, and you're going to answer my one question. And my one question is, what are 3 things you're doing to overcome obstacles in your life right now?
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you asked. I am sure that you and your audience are overcoming more than 3 obstacles. So obviously my list ended up longer than 3 things, but I wanted to share, so in my business, I am a virtual coach with online cycling clients, as well as a personal trainer in real life. So I meet people face to face in a gym, just like you do. And obviously now that we've all been shut down, we've had to really pivot and go full online. And I also felt this need in my community, like on my Facebook community and my friends in real life, who were just like, man, my gym shut down. I'm stressed out beyond belief. So this wasn't an obstacle yet. It was an opportunity. So I actually just kind of hopped in that void and said, hey, what if I did some online classes? Would you attend? And I got an overwhelming heck yes. So I, at the turn of a dime, decided to start my own online virtual studio as well. So I have Action Virtual Studio happening, which was an opportunity, not an obstacle. I just invited people I knew, their family, their friends, and voila, now we're working out together up to 14 classes a week, which is amazing.
That's so
3 weeks ago, we didn't exist, and now we've got 14 classes. So
yeah,
as you can
I just want to interject, Rhea, because you
please.
mentioned that it's an opportunity, not an obstacle, which I think is great. For some, the obstacle may be just thinking of doing something like this, like the creative thinking that would come into making this opportunity and creating this opportunity for yourself. So
Huge.
I just wanted to put that out there because some, obstacles can be opportunities, but you have to switch on your mind to think that way. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Because like you, Robin, like I was going to see people face to face Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and all of a sudden that's taken away from me. And I had already had in the back of my head, like, oh, virtual Zoom, this is a thing. I know I have friends already doing that with their clients. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to have to do it. There's no trying. You're just going to have to do it. So, but because I felt the need, there were so many people who were just like, kind of desperate for that connection and desperate to move in their homes now that they have the ability to do their coaching outside of their homes anymore. I didn't really feel like there was an obstacle there. It was like, I just need to get over myself being on video and just do it. And you know what? After the first time of just getting through all the technical glitches, it was an exciting adventure to try out with everybody. Everybody loves getting in on the ground level. It's like they're discovering something new along with you. And as long as I was happy to ask for more feedback and how can I do things better, everybody has been so excited about being in on the ground level at the same time. So you're right, though. I did have to have the creativity to think of like, how can I make this happen for people? But I just wanted to point out that wasn't really an obstacle that I was facing. It was a niche I was able to fill right away. And I felt so grateful to be able to do that because in a crisis, when we're all faced with things changing at warp speed, all the control's been taken away. Our normal life had been taken away. And the only way that we can really, for me, to be able to keep moving forward is just put one foot in front of the other, having something, sense of normalcy or normality to go back to. And for me, waking up with a purpose of going to the gym and getting people fit is my sense of normality. So I was really grateful to have that in place. Honestly, I asked the question on a Thursday on Facebook, and by Tuesday we had classes up and running. So I, wrote descriptions and got it going and got an audience and got them the Zoom link and away we went. And I have to say my very favorite part of this was I just asked for donations this whole first month because I, like you, had tons of technical challenges and just like you had some today. And so I didn't want people to feel like, man, I'm paying all this money and you don't know what you're doing. So I just asked for donations and we ended up raising $200 for the food bank, which was so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, for Alameda Food Bank. Woohoo. Yeah. So we're hopeful that, I'm hopeful, one of my missions for my business was to help raise a couple dollars every month for a different charity in my area, just to help, like whether it's the food bank or the Humane Society. I just want to be part of the community as well. So, but anyhow, you asked me about obstacles and I will tell you, I have a few. Okay. So one was why even get out of bed? Right? I mean, life is crazy. I am exhausted. So my why is that I get to teach people and help them sweat in their sanctuary. That's kind of my whole shtick. It's your home. I know, right? It's like your home and you are kind of stuck there right now. So how can we get a sweat on? And for me, I live this. I know you live this too. It's like, you got to get that dopamine hit first thing in the morning. I got to get moving. And I realized I was missing this group exercise piece, but I'm also doing personal training now by Zoom, long distance. And by having that, I have to be in front of you removed, I can see my friends on the East Coast now. I can work with clients who've moved away. It's like this whole open thing. So having this purpose to get out of bed in the morning has really helped me get over that obstacle of why even get out of bed? I have a purpose.
I experienced that too, because when I have a similar situation as you where I had to revamp all my classes online. I was throwing things out at my clients like, hey, what time would you like to train? Do you want to do morning and evening? And I started with like an alternating morning and evening. And on the mornings I wasn't teaching, I didn't get up. I didn't set my alarm and I didn't want to get out of bed. And thankfully, the people I'm training want to work out in the morning. Like they overwhelmingly want to work out in the morning. And I was really excited about that because I had a reason to get up in the morning. I set my alarm, I get up, and that gets me up and moving. So I love that we all sort of get up together and we all have that reason to get up. But it's so important. Like if you don't give yourself a reason and a purpose to get out of bed, it's a lot easier to stay in bed right now.
Yeah. And then it's it's kind of the suck. I call it the suck, it just sucks me in, and then I'm feeling good while I'm doing it. But then I get up and I realize, oh, it's 11 o'clock and I haven't done anything.
It doesn't feel as good as I think it will.
It really doesn't. Yeah. I mean, once in a while, that's why sleeping in on a weekend feels so luxurious, but doing it every day, you're like, oh. So I stick to, and you've heard this too, Robin, already, but a morning and an evening routine. I know our coaches have been talking to us about it, but I really do this. So like the night before I set up what I need to do, and I usually list 3 to 5 tasks or objects that need to get done so that it's out of my head and I can sleep peacefully. Then I set my alarm like you do. I get up and out of bed, and I really make a focus on doing 5 to 10 minutes of meditation in the morning. I use Headspace. I encourage people to use any sort of app.
I use Calm. Yeah.
Calm. Exactly. Yeah. There's so many out there. There's even these YouTube channels that help with meditation. My latest favorite, everybody, pro tip, Monterey Bay Aquarium. They have meditations while you're watching the kelp swim back and forth. Yeah. So anyhow, 5 to 10 minutes.
I think mine is, I haven't done it yet, but I heard the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan leads guided meditations on YouTube.
Oh my God. I haven't done it either, but
I mean, you got to check that out.
Get in on that. Yeah. I need to. But it makes me sane and it makes me grateful. Every day I wake up and just feel like, oh, I just feel so good. It keeps my head in order and keeps my thoughts more organized too. And I just feel like I can attack the day fresh. That's the morning. What else? Obviously coffee, water before coffee. And then I get into my workout, and I work out a little bit with my clients, even if we're personal training, because I need that movement as well. Yeah. And it makes me a more productive human. And that's another like obstacle that you don't realize until you stop doing it, is if you don't do that morning movement, it becomes an obstacle. Yeah. So I hold to that. I hold to that morning routine most days of the week. And that keeps my day moving forward, so that when I'm done with my workouts, I'm done serving my clients, I can get right into the meat of the work, whether it's writing emails or content or whatever other things I have to do, making up more programs, but I can get that done and kind of into my world. And then I have time for my, if I have to get on the bike or the afternoon things. But then it comes to the evening, and this is really new for me, Robin, is an evening routine. And it was important for me because I was so stressed out listening to the world be crazy. And I really didn't feed into watching a lot of news. I don't do that too much, but I was so wound up at night. So I really focused on like 2 hours before bed, trying to not watch screens. It's still hard because I go to bed early. But
I know, I feel that.
And an hour before bed, I'm trying like the yoga and stretching routine that I've got down. And then I try to get into bed right before my bedtime so that by bedtime I can actually be asleep. And this is always a practice. It's never perfect, right? Yeah. But I've really focused on evening routine, and that has helped me so much with better sleep. Because my mind had been racing a lot, as I know everybody's is, but it had been really hard to focus on business because I'm up all night. So that was a big obstacle. Was the evening routine was a savior.
Yeah. And I've been experiencing, like, I've had a hard time falling asleep at night lately. And that really hit home for me, because I know, like, I should be doing an evening routine. I should be turning off screens at a certain time. And the funny thing is, before this all went down, I had just gone to a conference where, like, that was so much of that was in there. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do all the things, turn off my phone, put it on airplane mode at a certain time of night. I'm going to do my morning routines. And then, like, the world went crazy and all of that got abandoned, at least for a couple of weeks for me. And now we're starting to see that it's like, this is going to be the new normal for a little while. And you can't live like that. You can't live in chaos all the time. You can't say, well, until this gets back to normal, I'm not going to do these routines. We need these routines. Like, we need as much of it as possible. So what I'm hoping will happen, and what I'm working on for myself, is that people will start figuring out what their routines are and start settling into what that means for them, because for everybody it's different. And you gave some really awesome advice, and some of the things are things that I'm already doing, and some of the things are things I want to be doing. But to start establishing everyday routines in your life, morning, evening, and even during the day, more and more based on what your life looks like right now, the new normal as it is, until we're able to go back out in the world again. Start establishing those routines, and you'll sleep better. You'll be more organized mentally and physically. You'll feel better, all of that. So
absolutely. Yeah. It's really helped me with my headspace, and being confined to a house is not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely been a struggle, and so if I don't have my headspace lined up and I don't have that routine laid out, I definitely am like, what day is it? Where am I? Nothing. And everything runs together. So I am grateful that my leaders help me really focus on routines, and I'm sticking to it, and it makes a huge difference. So that's the biggest way I've overcome any obstacle in the last 3 weeks is routine, which sounds so boring. I'm so square.
Right, but it's important.
It's so important.
Because you can't live in chaos all the time, even when the world is chaos.
Body hates
like
it.
We can't live in chaos. So we need that boring in our lives.
Big time.
We need
and
that
especially if you're an athlete like you are and I am, and this has been throwing us a huge wrench, and you kind of harbor those feelings of, should I even go outside and work out? Is it ethical? Is it, so
safe,
there's definitely been, so those are some obstacles I still grapple with. And so with regards to being an athlete and not just a business owner, but the athlete part of it, I read an amazing article about the self-care and cycling specifically, because there's a lot been written about people who deal with anxiety and depression through cycling. And so having that taken away from them immediately has been really challenging. And now it's not been taken away from everyone. Some people in the world can ride their bicycles outside right now. And that's huge, because you get your nature therapy and you get the wind in your face and the bicycle therapy. But some people in Europe are confined to their apartment. And so they have to be on a trainer. And it's been really hard for people. So there's a great article that I would reflect on about self-care and cycling. And one thing was to let go of your timetable that you had for yourself. I know, like you, I'm sure I did too. I had all these big goals for this year, and I wanted to rise up to meet those challenges, because that gives my life meaning and it gives me happiness. And for about a week, I struggled with letting go of that. And as soon as I was able to mentally just let it flow down the river, it was two things. One, it was like a big weight was off my shoulders, because there was no longer like, how do I get this interval in? Where do I go to do this? How does this happen? And it was like lifted. So that was nice. And two, it made me sit back and reassess, why do I even do this? Why do I love cycling? And you get back to the foundation and the root of why you love what you love. And for me, it was the nature therapy. Again, I'm outdoors. I'm pursuing something that gives me happiness, and just the physical act of riding a bicycle with the wind on your face and the sense of freedom that it brings. And that's why I do this. And then the other things are great. Like, I love feeling strong. I love riding fast and dangerously sometimes. And, just all those things are extra. But what it came down to for me was, it's mentally healthy for me to get outside in nature and feel the freedom. And so, sure, I felt angry and disappointed that my season was ended, but I wasn't an Olympic athlete. My Olympics were canceled, right? There were so many people who had so many more bigger and harder things that they had sacrificed for. So that was a huge obstacle. And I was able to, again, kind of just sat with those feelings of anger, disappointment, and probably for a day, honestly. And then I just, like I said, I let it sail down the river, and I felt that sense of relief a little bit. And then I was able to connect with the root of why I do it. And now I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to sit down and look far in the future, maybe next year, and set some big goals. And in the meantime, just focus on the feeling of why I love it. You know?
Reconnect with the why. Reconnect with why you do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Are you getting out and cycling right now? Are you able to?
Yeah. So we're physically able to still, although, it seems like every week something gets more tight and
I know
restricted.
you have to pay attention to everything, but yeah. But California. So it's like
in Northern California right now, I can still ride. They're asking us to stay within our county, if that makes sense. But, I'm right on the edge of a county, so it's kind of weird, but I'm taking what I feel are responsible risks. So I'm generally not near cars, although there's so few cars out.
There's more pedestrians than cars, I've noticed.
There are more pedestrians.
I'm running, and I'm like, I can run in the middle of the road because there aren't cars out here.
No cars. I know.
And I can be away from people.
it can be away from people. So, and I've chosen like routes that I know are not going to put me at danger. And I've been really smart about just riding only by myself or just with my husband who I'm quarantined with. So, but we're not riding with friends. We're not group riding. We're asking all of our clients to not group ride. And honestly, I'm still trying to, it's one of those technology things that I'm going to be joining the new craze, which is Zwift. And now it's not really new, it's old craze, but everybody's on it now. So kind of like how Zoom has taken over, we got Zwift as indoor cycling because you can ride with people indoors, and it's a really fun app. It's a really fun game, gamification of bike racing. So cool. I just haven't got the infrastructure yet. I don't have the cool trainer. I know you can do it without the trainer, but you need other technology. So it's just kind of, for me, I still want to be able to ride outside as much as I can because I need that nature break.
I'm right there with you. It's really interesting reconnecting with your why and finding the joy again and simplifying. My experience, I do obstacle racing. That's all. Who knows what's happening, but I'm acting as if there are no races this year. My husband and I, a technique that we have used is just training as if we are. Like we were supposed to race in Big Bear. So we're still doing the long runs, that volume, and maybe when that date passes, we'll train as if another race is coming, we'll change the goal. But ultimately it's coming back to simplicity that we're getting out and we're running. I am finding on the days that I go outside and run, it doesn't matter how long or short, it makes me so happy just to run. Yeah. Like just being outside. And when you're inside all the time, it changes your perspective and you get outside and you just get some fresh air and some sunlight and you're by yourself and I throw on some music and it's like, and I feel great.
Yeah. It's the gateway to nirvana right there.
Yeah. And so you end up simplifying like the things that make you feel good, the things that give you that dopamine hit, it takes less now. Yeah. Because your worldview is so narrow. Or, what you're looking at is so narrow that just stepping outside your door by yourself and doing, a 20-minute run feels amazing.
And
or a ride for you.
And honestly, a run or a hike for me too. It's the same thing. It's the getting out. And I hope that there are some of our scientists are working right now doing more of the stress test of like when humans are confined indoors versus when you're allowed to go outdoors. I know there's been a lot of studies on like nature as therapy and green bathing. And I would hope that people are taking this time to use this amazing example of sheltering in place and then allowing you to go outside for a short amount of time. Like
we are all subjects in this study. It's like it's a worldwide study. Yeah.
Worldwide study. And you anecdotally, like understanding how going outside relieves your stress. I mean, it's just so you can share that with your clients who don't believe you, Yeah. And it's just amazing. Living through this challenge has really given you such a different perspective and an ability to show your clients or people who are struggling with stress how to relieve it. It's so fascinating to me.
Yeah. I tried a new thing because schedules are not as ironclad anymore. I used to do all my training in the morning, but I have like double workouts on Mondays where I do strength training and a run. And I've actually started running at like 4 PM at the end of my day. And it's really interesting how good that makes me feel to just like step away from working all day long and just go for a little run. And I'm like, at a time I never would have. Yeah. And it's like, I come home and I'm like, I feel awesome. That was amazing. It's like I've fallen in love with running all over again in a way that I never thought I would. And this is coming from someone who used to hate running. It's fascinating. So yeah, that's a really good viewpoint of like kind of taking the pressure and the complication away from why we train, especially us as athletes, and really taking it back to the basics and remembering why you do it. And that's a really cool share and way that you overcome that obstacle.
Yeah. Our first week, I called like an all hands on deck with all my cycling coaching clients and just was like, hey guys, let's, air our grievances. And I mean, we're all just like on the edge of like, what's going to be canceled and what's not, and why even go on, And so I shared just like, it's okay to feel these feelings. Yeah. And let's make sure that you're aware of them. And then let's start to regroup and find a way to move through it so that nobody's just pushing them away. Because a lot of times I think people ride away from feelings as well. Yeah. So,
I found a tool that's working for me with the obstacle races. Like they're not all canceled yet. And maybe you're experiencing the same thing where they're sort of canceling as they go. But something that has worked for me is, act as if everything is canceled, train as if nothing is canceled.
Yeah, I like it.
Like
That's
mentally, it's like, let all those races go. They're gone. Like the year is over. It's not happening. But train as if they are. Like train as if you still want to climb that mountain. And if for whatever reason, like this disease miraculously goes away and that race in May that I assumed I wasn't doing miraculously got put back on the calendar, I want to be ready to do it. I want to be able to walk out my door and know I can. And so I am acting as if there are no races and I'm training as if there are.
And I kind of shared the same sort of sentiments with our group. And I just said, hey, let's just, if luck is honestly, it's when opportunity meets preparation, right? So let's keep up the preparation. And if the opportunity arises, everyone's going to wonder why you're so fast.
Exactly. You're going to have an advantage against the other people who just slept in.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, so this was another obstacle that I've been dealing with for ages. It was letting nagging injuries, heal. And it's like, if you were to ask me, like, what's going on? I'm like, this back thing. You guys are like, I've heard it. I'm done. And I've been over it, right? But it is such a gift to have this extra time to let extra nagging injuries heal because you don't have that, I have to race hanging over your head.
Yeah, and the pressure has been removed. You can take care of yourself. Yeah.
So that's like that obstacle of injury is allowing me to now have time to get over the injury. And even beyond that, explore new ways to train so you're not going to re-injure the same area. And that to me is very fun because I'm nerdy like that. So I have been doing all sorts of fun and new, interesting training off the bike just to allow for that injury to heal and allow myself to not have that injury come up again. So for any injured athletes out there, using this time to just let those nagging bits heal is just such a gift, honestly.
Yeah, it's a gift and it's an opportunity. I've actually spoken to clients who've had injuries and had frustration. I'm like, you have been given the gift of time.
Yes.
Like you can make that your sole focus right now and then get to the race training later. It's like you fortify that body, like make sure everything is healed and feeling good. There's no more pressure anymore. There's no race looming, a few weeks away that you have to figure out how to hide this,
how to work around
it, or relearn how to do monkey bars because that shoulder is hurting. Take care of that shoulder, heal that shoulder. And when the races do come back, when the competitions do come back, you're going to be whole again because you've been given the gift of time. So that's awesome.
And our mentor always says you got to slow down to level up, and this is your time, right?
This is your time.
Slow it down to level up. Level it up. I love it.
That's perfect. Slow down to level up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We've had, first of all, the obstacle that's opportunity.
Yep.
So I don't know if that even counted as an obstacle.
Not really.
that like taking away the barrier of perfection. Like we need to make everything perfect before we put it out there. Like put stuff out there because like it's going to be a little bit of trial and error, but you just want to get it out. So remove all that other stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. Come up with creative ideas, put them out there.
Love it.
Taking away the pressure that comes with training and kind of simplifying back to the why.
Yeah. Routine
for yourself, morning, evening, whatever works for you. And then taking care of injuries, allowing this to become an opportunity and giving yourself the gift of time to heal your body, become whole so that when those events come back, when those competitions come back, you'll be at 100% and ready to crush it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Marissa, that's awesome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, you shared some amazing stuff. And I know that the people watching are going to it's going to provide huge value to them. So, and that's what I wanted to do with this today. Marissa, how can people learn more about you and your coaching and how to work?
Well, absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, Marissa Axell. Also, I have a coaching group, Action, Fitness, and Coaching. We got a great group. That? Yeah, AXN, Action, AXN. Yeah, Action, Fitness, and Coaching. And we are always talking about cycling, fitness, nutrition, all sorts of good stuff in there. But then also you can find me online, AXN, actionfitnessandcoaching.com. And last, Instagram, Axell Rocks, AXELLROCKS. And that is my Instagram handle. You can find me in all those places. And yeah, you guys, also you can find me on my bike in Northern California.
Yep, keep an eye out. She's out there somewhere around the county.
Probably wearing neon.
Wearing neon and inching towards that county line and maybe taking a small part of that wheel over the county line because you You're living dangerously.
Totally.
Thank you so much, Marissa, for being on with me today. And we are going to be doing this every single Friday with different people sharing different perspectives to help you overcome the obstacles that you are facing right now. So thanks for joining, and we will see y'all soon.
Thanks, Robin. You're the best.
Thank you for listening to the Seasoned Athlete Podcast. The music you heard in this episode is from Jason Achilles. Learn more about him at jasonachilles.com. Hey, Seasoned Athletes, Robin here, and I will be hosting a free virtual workshop on Tuesday, April 14th called 5 Must-Do Things to Overcome Obstacles in the Age of Physical Distancing, Self-Quarantine, and Coronavirus. In this workshop, I will teach you how to use obstacle race training principles to overcome the new and constantly changing obstacles that are popping up in your path in this new world we find ourselves in. This will be an interactive experience where you will learn tips and techniques on how to stay strong, focused, and resilient during this crazy time in our lives. This workshop is absolutely free, but you do need to sign up, and you can do that by going to seasonedathlete.me and clicking on the banner at the top of the page. And with that, Seasoned Athletes, stay strong, stay safe, and remember to always embrace your extraordinary.